Hey everybody, I'm so excited to have one of the top bloggers right now taking over the city and the country. Her amazing vegan food recipes. She's an entrepreneur, just doing some amazing things in the space. So please welcome Miss Plant-based Tamika. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, Kat.
No problem at all. So yeah, I'm sure people want to know, were you always a vegan? Did you used to eat meat? And tell us about your personal. She's like, no. Definitely tell us about your personal story.
Yeah, absolutely. So veganism is very, very new for me. I have been plant-based vegan since Father's Day 2019. But I'm telling you, Kat, I was dragged into this lifestyle kicking and screaming. So the thing was, what led me to the vegan lifestyle is I was really trying to cure myself of some asthma. I had gotten asthma in my 20s. I was completely fine eating all the dairies, all the meat and animals and everything like that. And one day I was jogging in my 20s and my body literally shut down and it had a whole asthma attack. And I started freaking out like, what is going on with me? So I just thought maybe it was like a one-off situation. Since that moment, like I had severe asthma. So I tried to cure it in every other way possible outside of a plant-based diet. So it took me several months of like battling, going to doctors, realizing that there was no like quick fix. And I decided to try a plant-based diet after watching What the Health. And I swear within 2 weeks, it was completely gone. And I had so much suffering. And I was like, oh my God, that's all I had to do was just like tweak my diet a little bit. And I literally got my quality of life back. I was like not sleeping well. I would get sinus infections like clockwork. Every year at the same time of year, I would get sinus infections. And my body was just like rejecting all the dairy and the, the meat and everything like that, causing my body inflammation. And as soon as I omitted it, that like it cured itself like so fast. I was like so highly impressed. Shocked, really.
So how did your family react? When you first told them that you want to start this blogging and entrepreneurial journey, were they supportive?
You know what? My family is pretty much always supportive of me.
That's good.
Especially like I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. They were always just like basically whatever I put my mind to, they know that that's what I'm going to do. I don't really like ask for permission for
Okay.
anything. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
And look, and they're like, oh, wow, hey, they love it. And it's so awesome because I've actually inspired a lot of my family and close friends to try this lifestyle out because they see literally they saw me when I was sick and not doing well, and then they see me now and it's just like I know I'm emitting like a joy and a vibrancy because I'm so happy to be like healthy. So I try not to be preachy to anybody. I just try to like show it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just like
Right.
show, like to me, that is the best example is just live your best life. And people will, if it's something that they, want to see or they admire or something like that, they may be open-minded to trying plants.
Hmm. Now let's talk about the hard part. I know people probably see your page like, oh my God, I love her recipe. She looks amazing and she does amazing food and lifestyle. Tell people how it can be challenging as far as creating content on a daily
Ooh.
basis that people want to gravitate. And I think people think it's easy. So can you talk about that?
I hope no one listening to this thinks that it's easy. So to me, the easiest part is making the decision that you want to do it. Like that's the easy part. Being consistent is such a challenge in anything that it is that you do that does not come as, like just second nature to you. Um, so for me, anybody that is on my Instagram lives, they know good and well. I hate doing recipe development. I hate writing out 1 teaspoon of this. I'd be like, y'all just make it work. The ancestors will guide you, baby.
Right, right.
But people want that finite, tell me how much of this should I put in there. So that's the part that I really, really dislike, Kat. But I have realized that it's just a part of this passion of mine. So everything doesn't have to be something that you're gung-ho crazy about to, to do it and for it to fit in your story. Um, and I've actually been asked so many times, I would say 5 times too many times, where can I buy your cookbook? So I actually decided that I will write a cookbook. And I just I cannot believe I'm verbalizing that out loud. Because I always told people, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to make it work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to make it work for me. And it's going to be a part a little bit about the recipes that are tried and true. It's going to be part recipe. I mean, not recipe, but restaurant recommendations across the country and world. And also just a little bit about my story and how I came to this lifestyle and things like that.
Now, since you brought up that fact, I didn't know, I'm not going to share your story, but can you talk about kind of where you came from and kind of where God has placed you now?
Yes, absolutely. So I had a very not traumatizing, but I would say like a very trying and tumultuous childhood and upbringing. Um, the whole basically like the whole reason why I am the person that I am today, I know had to do with dealing with homelessness as a child. My mom battled mental health issues. I don't really talk about that a whole lot, but I know that had so much to do with, us bouncing around a lot. My parents actually got divorced when I was in about like 3rd grade. And ever since, like, I didn't have that balance of, I guess, my dad in the household to kind of like balance it out, it just went downhill from there. So we basically would get evicted in just about every place that we moved after my parents got divorced. And it would be so abrupt. Like, I would come home from school and like our things were just like strewn across like the front yard, or you know what I'm saying, like that type of thing. And it was super jarring because, like not being able to say goodbye to friends, like that type of thing. Going from like a stable household to shelters, to like living in the car for a little while, to being out of school, to like living with family, and then like some family being like, it's too many of y'all got to go.
Right.
So seriously, like it was my mom, my 2 brothers, and my little sister. And I'm such an empath. Like, I feel like I'm so proud of myself that I'm not bawling in tears right now. I'm so proud of myself. But it's like, it's all of us, we talk about it and they're like, you're literally the one who this affected the most. Like, they're kind of just like, it's just what happened. And for me, it's just like that literally carved me into this person that I was, because it showed me that no matter what you're put through and no matter how jarring a situation is, like, you can get through it and God will have a plan for you. Because I needed all of that to happen. I felt like it just really gave me that grit and that tenacity that I needed to continue to push through. So.
Wow. And what do you have to say to people right now? Like, I know a few people who I went to school with, through college, through high school, who were dealing with homelessness, and now they got a job, or either maybe they got set back on bad times. Do you have any advice for those people right now?
Just hold steadfast and keep dreaming, keep pushing and running towards your passion, because that is where success is, truly, like doing what it is that you are called to do. So many of us do things that we think we got to do for a paycheck or this or that. And it's not saying that you don't need to, provide for yourself or whoever it is that you're providing for, but never forget, because I'm telling you, God puts that stuff on your heart and on your mind. There's a reason why you're pulled into that. And I honestly feel like I always tell people I'm on my 4th life because I keep pivoting and doing something else. And it's nothing that's like scatterbrained. I'm literally pulled into this new arena. So at first, I thought I was going to be, this super like professional corporate, like just like a businesswoman, like going into a corporate office. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. And then like 2007 and 2008, I graduated college in 2007. That was one of the worst economic times trying to find a job. So then I went into entrepreneurship. I had always loved fashion. I couldn't sew worth a lick, but I could put together some looks, honey, some real looks.
Okay.
So my
We
family was like,
see it.
"You
We
should really
see it
do
now. We
this."
still see
Thank
it.
you. My family was like, "You really should try to do it." They like, that show, What Not to Wear was a big deal then.
Yep.
They were like, "You should do that. You should do that." So being like pushed and supported by my family, I did decide, okay, what do I have to lose? Like, I was so young. I had just graduated college. I started doing that. And then I had gained so much success doing that. And I thought that I found the thing I was going to do for the rest of my life. I had been on Rachel Ray, like multiple news, like commercials, found really, really good success doing that. And then I had my husband and I had opened up a boutique, and I was sitting in my boutique with having an asthma attack and freaking out and trying to figure out, how do I get rid of this? So that is when I decided to kind of like pivot. Once I got cured of the asthma, I was like, oh my God, I have to tell somebody. I have to tell somebody. So that's when Plant-based Tamika was born. So I still have the boutique. It's just online boutique. And I'm also a caregiver to my mom. So she's in the other room with my husband right now. So it's just funny the way that God orchestrates certain things, and the way that things, like, no matter what it is that you think this is how my life is going to go. Like, it's like, I want to tell people to have a loose plan. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you get too focused on something, you may miss another avenue. You may miss a little detour that you're supposed to do. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
so
think
hard for
that's
me
some of
to
my
just,
problem too. My fiance is like, you always want to stick to the plan. Is the plan that goes? Because I'm a Gemini, right? So I go cuckoo when it
okay.
doesn't go right. So I'm glad
You're
you
like,
said
this is
that.
not in accordance to plan. But I
Right.
swear, I feel like that is my life. Is like, that's why I'm like, this is my fourth life. Nothing has gone to plan. But the good thing is like, I keep chasing what is pulling me. I always feel like something is gonna pull you somewhere. So
So how were you able to build rapport? When you first started out, and nobody knew your name, you didn't have these amazing videos and perfection and polishedness. So how were you able to get people to buy in to your vision?
I worked for free. That's really what it is. So I like, this is my thing about chasing your passion, is like, it's really hard to chase your passion and chase like money at the same time. I'm not saying that you can't do both, but I'm saying, like, when you're first starting out, even when I worked in fashion, I worked for free. So it's really like building up a portfolio, like building up just your relationship network, things like that. So now, with all the free work I did, now these bigger brands are reaching out to me with year-long contracts and things like that. So I always said, once I did get serious about Plant-based Tamika, which it did take me a little while, because I was having fun and I'm still having fun, but I was just like not worried about monetizing. But when I did get serious about it, that's when my following did shoot up, because I was just so consistent. I was strategic. I was like, okay, this would make sense. People would love this. I've got to talk about this, that type of thing. And I've really found my niche with the foodie videos, which I never thought was going to be a thing. I didn't think people would give a dang about me eating on camera. But when I did one of my first videos, and people were just like, oh my gosh, you make the food look so good, or I love to watch you eat. And I was like, is this some fetish
Right.
type of stuff? What is going on? But it was just, so many people were like, when other people eat in the camera, it kind of grosses me out, but you're like one of the only people that I could watch eat. And that just, it blew my mind. And it really just goes to show that I literally went from not having food. I remember going to school being hungry. I remember going to summer school because there were meals there, guaranteed meals. So I remember getting enrolled in summer school because we were so, it was like such hard times that, like, you can go get breakfast and lunch there. So and I had straight A's in summer school just to literally make sure that we could eat. So So going from not having food many, many times, pulling it, my mom would pull into drive-throughs at like McDonald's, I remember, and ask them, hey, can we have the leftover food that, didn't get sold and things like that. Many times they would give it to us. Sometimes they would be like, we're sorry, like we can't give it to you and things like that. So going from that to now people are like throwing food at me, like throwing literally, please come here and eat this food, that type of thing. It just, God has a sense of humor, honey. It blows my mind, really.
And I'm sure your mom appreciates where you are too, knowing what you guys went.
Yeah, so with the dementia, it's just like I don't know where she is in that particular day with that. So we don't really talk about those times so much. And now, like, she calls me mom. So in my mind, most of the time, she's a child in her head because she'll be like, Mom, don't make me do this. Like
Oh.
about getting ready, like taking a shower and things like that. But I remember talking to her before, like we got that diagnosis. And I was like, Mom, do you remember when we were like homeless? She was like, child, yes.
Right.
So she's like, girl, please. Yeah, I remember. So this is honest to God truth. I always tell people that like our parents, they're literally people that had kids. They have traumas, stresses, anxiety, all the same kind of things that we have and things like that. And I'm just like grateful because my mom and I, we had such a strained relationship in my teenage years and in my 20s. And now, again, bringing God back into it, I felt like this was God's way to be like, y'all are going to spend time together. Y'all are going to get some beautiful moments together. And this is the way I'm going to do it. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't with dementia, but it's been like a very challenging journey, but it's so rewarding. And we have a lot of sweet and hilarious moments together.
So let's talk about the importance of collaboration, especially with other bloggers and restaurants, how important that is. That it's just not just Tamika, like it's,
Yes.
branching off too.
Yeah. That is honestly how I built that. I think that's how like my following grew so much is because I've always had a collaborative mindset in everything that I did. I think that nothing great can be done alone. So my main collaborators were the restaurants. So it would be Tamika, because like no matter what restaurant you followed, I was working with them, and then you're gonna be, look, I'm about to be on your timeline. I'm
Right,
popping up, baby. Look, you don't want to follow me either way. I'm on your feed. What you want? So yeah, like, and I just recently collaborated with another blogger here in Chicago, and he focuses on like Black history, and I found out that he happened to be plant-based. So I was like, hey, let's link up. Let's like, so I'll be dropping that video in like, I believe tomorrow. Yeah, right before the end of Black History Month. I'm like always up for a good collaboration.
That's good. So how can someone go, I guess, full time, like from working from their jobs to being a blogger? You have any advice or any how to's?
Yeah, I would definitely just say, just reach out to if it's in regards to food, like a food blogger. I can tell people how I did it. I reached out to restaurants and said, hey, I'm not charging. I would love to create a promo video for you on Instagram, and I could also post it on my other platforms. 9 times out of 10, they're happy to comp your food in exchange for you spreading the word about their business. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally nothing for them. So, and it was so funny when I first started it. I think I was at like maybe 5 or 6,000 followers. And I'm like, oh my God, will this restaurant, will they respond? Will they, want to work with me? And I got so many like, oh yes, absolutely. Come on in. I just want people to know that even if you don't have a gang of followers, if you like 1,000, 2,000, keep going because you still are an influencer. That whole word influencer is super overrated because if you can't tell somebody, ooh, I had a bomb vegan gyro at this spot, you need to try it. and somebody goes, you literally influence them, and you're not a foodie influencer. So it's really like word of mouth is still like an awesome form of marketing. So and these restaurants, it's hard for them to keep up with content while they're working in the business, making the food, doing all that kind of stuff. So they're usually so happy to do it.
What about the meat lovers like myself?
So let me tell you this. This is
Uh-huh.
what I'm gonna tell you. What you got to season your meat with, though? You need the plants. You need the plants and the seasonings. Otherwise, the meat just tastes like a hunk of something, honey.
Oh, goodness.
I'm just telling you. Have you ever had a piece of chicken with no seasoning? Nasty.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Because you're gonna bite into it. You're gonna be like, where's this? Like, what happened? You ever had a burger with no seasoning? So that's the honest to God truth. And I always tell people this. Like, if you see a chicken running around like in a coop, you know what I'm saying? You see a chicken, you don't be like, "Ooh, I'm about to tear that up. That looks so bomb." Like, you don't look at the thing, you don't look at the chicken to be like, you don't salivate, because that's really not what it's about. It's about the way that, like, the texture and the seasoning. So I just tell people, just try a little fried oyster mushroom, throw your little Old Bay and your little, your little seasoned salt, whatever it is, your garlic powder on there, and you'll be surprised. For
Wow.
real.
Now,
And
what about,
vegan,
are you going to do seasonings too?
oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Girl,
Mm.
people be giving me so many ideas. Somebody the other day, one of the
You
restaurants
might as
that I
well. You
work
got the
with,
cookbook, and now you might as well
girl,
do your
I
own seasoning.
may as well. One of these restaurant owners that I worked with, I walked into her spot and she was like, "Tamika, you need to do a vegan skincare line." Like, I hadn't even set my tripod down yet, child. And she was like, "You need to do a vegan skincare line because your skin, it pops, people will buy it." Da, da, da. I was like, I would love to do that type of stuff. So I just feel like I think I have a little bit of imposter syndrome when it comes to the chef side and the cooking side. Cause I was like, literally 3-4 years ago, I was looking at the back of the box, how to make, whatever, something super basic. So it never was really like innately, how some people, when they cook, they just know what's going on. Like, I second guess myself. But I will say, being vegan and like cooking now, it has definitely helped my game. Like, I've gotten to be a much better cook and gotten much more confident with it as well.
So, what's your favorite quote that inspired you, especially when we all still face rejection and the low
Ooh.
times. So, what quote inspires you during those times?
So I saw, like, there's so many quotes. Like, I'm literally meditating and getting quotes on a daily basis. The first thing, and I know it doesn't sound all super inspiring, but the first thing I thought of was, I believe Maya Angelou said this: when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Like, to me, that is huge for
Wow.
me because, again, I am such an empath. Like, I will go to the ends of the earth for somebody. And then, if people don't reciprocate something, then I'm hurt or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
that type of thing. So that's more so on a personal level, not so much on business level. But I'm big on Jeremiah 29:11, that Bible verse. And I should know it verbatim, but it's basically like, "For I know the plans that I have for you, to give you hope in the future." I rely on that Bible scripture so much because it just lets you know that wherever you are, like, I have a plan for you and you will get through this. And that really gives me a lot of comfort, especially if I'm like struggling with something
Yeah.
mentally, or, any kind of problem. It definitely brings me that comfort.
Okay. Okay. So, what's next for you? Oh no, I'm sorry. What's your favorite recipe? I forgot to ask you that.
Oh, my favorite recipe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a favorite recipe. I eat by mood all the time. And a lot of times I'll be like, "You need to eat something green right now," So I have an app that I'll use, the Daily Dozen. So I'll definitely try to get all my nutrients in. But my favorite recipe, ooh, I just did. And I think that you saw this one, that vegan fried fish. I went to
I gotta
town
try
on.
that.
I went to town on that with them banana blossoms. I swear to Bob, I was like, oh my gosh, it was so good. It was spicy. It had the crunch to it. Now I'm gonna try to make the vegan fish with the banana blossoms. I'm gonna see if I could do it in the air fryer. So I'm still testing a lot of recipes out to see if I can make it like with less oil and see how that works out. And a lot of times I'll try a recipe and it'd be trash. I was like, ugh. Like like you gotta test stuff. You know what I'm saying? You gotta test stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Seriously, it goes a lot into this recipe development, So that's probably another reason why I'm not crazy about it.
But that means you gotta use a lot of creative juice, because I'm always like, because I get bored really easy. So I'm always curious to hear how people get creative with like new recipes and what to eat next, so that you don't get bored.
Social media does a great job with that for me, because it's like you're seeing what other people are making, and then it kind of makes you think, oh, what if I tried that with this? Or like I just saw somebody posting like their own type of veggie burger, and they made it with like chickpeas and like mushrooms and a whole bunch of other things. And I was like, oh, maybe I can try that with black beans instead of chickpea, because like I love chickpeas, but I wanted to use black beans, so I might try it my way. But yeah, it's Pinterest. Between Pinterest and Instagram, I'm super like, I have like this tab of like vegan recipes to try, and it's pretty filled up right now. So I need to do something.
So what's next for you?
I would say I need to tackle this cookbook, like get a true plan for what that would be like. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on out there. I would like to say the next thing for me is this vegan TV show that is my dream.
Okay.
Look,
let's put it out there.
I'm putting it out there, child. Yes. I want to travel, and I want to eat the vegan food, and I think that it's something that's missing on television, especially somebody that looks like us doing that. And I would love to do it, whether it's regionally here in Chicago, but in my vision, I definitely see it being international. Like there should be no reason why there is not a show showing that, because Black people we're the highest growing group of vegans. Like that's amazing.
I didn't know that. Okay. Wow.
Yes, ma'am, we are. You cannot.
Well, it makes sense. We won't get into that on Black History Month.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's awesome. So can you tell the world what they can find and connect with you at, and then your website?
Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll start with the website. That's plantbasedtamika.com, and Tamika with the I and a K. And basically all my social is Plant-based Tamika, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. If you just look up plant-based Tamika on Facebook, it's that. And then everything is a straight Plant-based Tamika everywhere else.
Awesome. We're going to keep Plant-based Tamika in our prayer. She's going to have the top rated vegan show, food channel. What is it? What is it? I forgot the other channels that they
look. Have. Food Network, BT.
Food Network.
I really can see me on BT in real life. Look.
Now you just got to get one of your reels together and submit
yes,
it.
And that's so funny you said that, because I literally was just talking to somebody who works in media, and she was just like, just get your demo reel together. She was like, and she said something to me that I always tell other people, and I felt convicted. I was like, oh my gosh, she told me, she said, get ready or stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I was like, I literally tell people that all the time. So yeah, I'm definitely that's going to be next for me before I get the show.
Okay.
The demo
thank you so much for your time today. Truly appreciate it. It's always one of those things that we never get back. So I definitely don't want to take that for granted. Sharing your story of being vulnerable. I'm sure it changed a few people's lives today, who's with us live. So thank you. And we'll see you again. And let us know the release of your cookbook so we can spread the word as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Hi.
See you.